Howdy y'all, this here is Big Country with Big Country Survival. There's gonna be my house one day. I got the woods, there's my cellar, and back in there somewhere I've got another storage shed, and I've got a couple more scattered throughout the property. I live too close to the road for my personal taste, but it's not a major road. It's just a farming community. I am going to, I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you exact, but I'm going to tell you close to what I've got, and I'm going to tell you close to what I paid for this, and then I'm going to get into some of this stuff. Alright, so that house, I had a lot of mold issues, a lot of wiring issues, and I basically had to gut the whole thing. Although right here I'm actually sitting on the porch of a garage apartment that was also on the property, and so we've been living in it. Two-stall garage, 4-room apartment, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, living room, and this property, most of it's woods. There's some nice field, there's a nice hay field. I've got a couple sources of water on it, and some flat spots on the hillside. It is almost 50 acres. It is almost 50. I've got less than 100,000 in it. Now, I know I discussed that when I was in the Navy. I discussed that with a girl from California. He said that $100,000 would not, in California, $100,000 where she was at would not even buy her a quarter-acre lot. No house on it, nothing. Now, so, land, this stuff's cheap out here. No one bothers me. And I wake up to this every day. I'm living here. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm not bragging, I promise. I am nothing special. I am a Navy veteran. I bought this house while it was in, and made about a year's worth of payments on it while I was in. I got out. They always told you had to have 6 months of money saved up. Well, I put 6 months of money into a down payment on this thing. So I had to find a job, and quick. My wife was working part-time in retail at that time and going to school full-time, making minimum wage. I started the job I'm currently working, and I've had a few promotions throughout the past few years, but I spent the first year at $11 an hour making payments on this thing, paying insurance, paying electric, all that junk that we all do, and so I started at $11 an hour in a fab shop. Now, if I can do that, so can you guys. I mean, you can do this. Um, SHTF, the place I don't want to be, is in Los Angeles, New York. Um, you know, these major population centers. The state I live in has about the same amount as is in a 5-county radius around Columbus, Ohio. I mean, there's less people here than there are in those county in a 25-mile radius around Columbus, Ohio. Now, you can't argue with that. And you know what? People on my road, we wave at each other. We're friendly to each other. We stop and talk to each other. You know, not all of us, but you know, at the very least, we wave. You know, when we go by. So we're all friendly folk, right? We get along, kind of run on a live and let live basis, I guess. I'll leave you alone, and I really don't care what you're into, as long as you don't try and tell me how to live my life. Don't tell me that you want to be a vegan? You can be a vegan. Just don't tell me I can't have a T-bone steak, right? And that's kind of how we are out here. You do your thing and we'll do ours, and just as long as you don't say I can't do my thing, then we won't have any issues. You know, this is how we were meant to live. And you can do this. My brother and his wife just paid $3,000 for a 1975 double wide mobile home. They put another $500 into it. I mean, this is all ideas for you, how you can do it. They put $500 into it, and they could have gotten away with less, with putting less into it, because there was really less money, you know, as far as making it till you could live in it, right? But they wanted to do it right, and they wanted to fix it up right, and so the family got together, and you know, we had a couple of working days, and we busted it out and got everything going. You know, so $3,500. They have a living space. They have a lot rent. Their lot rent's like 170 something a month, I think, which covers their water. So they have basically unlimited water. I mean, you know, the potential for free water storage that they have. Wow, you know. And they have a little sectional lot that they can grow a little garden in. It's better than a high-rise apartment in the middle of New York City. And that's just the plain and simple truth. Most people around here aren't more than a generation or two away from a family farm. And you know, it's the good way to live. Have a family farm. Have a couple of acres anyway. I mean, around here, you kind of want more because most of it's going to be hillside. But, you know, a couple of acres of good flat land is enough to grow a decent amount of food. If you plan it out right, and there's tons of resources online for that. I mean, there are tons of resources out there for that. Um, you know, I'm just saying, you guys have options. And if you're complaining about, well, I have this really nice job and I don't know if I'll be able to find a job out in the sticks. I got home. I'd literally been in the state. I came home on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, I showed up at the place I currently work at and said, hey, I want the job. Basically, you know, I showed up for an interview. I didn't even fill out a resume. Although they kind of knew I was coming. And, you know, they knew I was coming, but and I'd been in contact with the company a little bit, you know, and I showed up and they basically said, okay, well, you know, the boss looked me in the eye, shook my hand, and asked me a couple questions and said, all right, well, we'll get you started filling out some paperwork. And said, you can finish out the day if you want. And I told him, I said, I've been in country. I just got home yesterday. He said, well, how's Monday sound? I told him Monday sounded good. And I've been working there ever since. You know, so if you're saying, oh, well, I can't find a job, I mean, there's jobs. I can't drive to work without passing at least 6 or 7 help wanted signs. I think the Home Depot and Lowe's have a permanent help wanted sign up in front of their stores. Like, it's legitimate, like, concreted in, you know, the pillars are concrete, and a wood sign or a big plastic sign, you know, not the tarp type deal. Like, it's a permanent sign that says, you know, now accepting job applications, help wanted. You know, I'm telling you, there are jobs here. They're not the greatest jobs, but that's the thing about a job. You can work at one place for a while and look for another one. The average income around here is like 9 something an hour, which is better than minimum wage was anyway. Better than minimum wage, which I think is like $8.75 an hour. But you know, nine something an hour, you can make a living at that. You're not gonna have all the things you want. You're gonna have to pinch pennies, but you can survive in this area for that much. So what am I saying? If you live in a major population center, you might want to consider a move. I'm not going to tell you where to move, because I don't know. There's a bunch of rural areas out there, and you know, there's rural areas all over the country. Just pick one, basically. You can do your own research on that for location, but get out of the apartment, get out of the high-rises, get out of these major population centers, because they will be death traps in a major event. They will become a death trap. Not to mention, out here it's just a better way of life. I think it's quieter, it's more peaceful. You know, I don't have someone in my business all the time. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Go ahead and, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more stuff like that and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Till next time, this is Big Country with Big Country Survival, signing out, and God bless.